Hello everyone. I just wanted to add some additional information on top of what the amazing Luli has already created and offered to us in her My Story Guide video. So the first thing that I wanted to add is that it is, as Luli said, entirely optional. We do not expect our players to have to use the My Story HUD. Instead, it is complementary to add to your experience here in the sim, and also to offer some guidance and some fun that you could use and incorporate into your character's roleplay. And I am going to touch on that a little bit later and how we can kind of transcribe that over. But the first thing that I wanted to really explain is you saw it visually when Luli was unpacking the HUD, and basically she showed you that you had to pick up the system from the landing zone, which is free, and then you need to res your box on the ground and unpack it. Inside the box there are various items, some which we will be using here in Dreadville and some we won't be. So the first thing that you need to do is follow the guidelines. So there's a note card in there and it says the My Story Roleplay System Startup. So the very first thing you need to do to get started is add the My Story Roleplay System and select your gender. Then you need to, step 2, detach and reattach your My Story Roleplay System. Step 3 is add the My Story HUD. Step 4 is click the button labelled Inventory on your HUD. It won't do anything, you just need to click it. Step 5, detach your HUD. Step 6, detach your roleplay system. And step 7, reattach your HUD. Step 8, reattach your roleplay system. And this confirms the registration on the My Story server. So before you get started, you need to do that. Otherwise, it won't have your HUD set up properly and you won't start gaining any experience or anything like that. So that's the first thing. The second thing that I wanted to touch on additionally is the fact that you have basically like a life HUD. Okay, so if you think of the video game that we all used to love back in the day, The Sims, I know that I did. This is kind of like a second life version of The Sims. So you have a health bar, an energy bar, a hunger bar, a thirst bar, hygiene, continence, social, happiness, and sickness. So you basically have to look after all of these things when you have the roleplay HUD activated, which you can pause and unpause, by the way, which is great for when you're moving into roleplay scenes guided by your HUD. So for these different bars and the different care, you have to do a different set of things. So obviously for your hunger and your thirst, you're going to need to eat and to drink. For a vampire, of course, you aren't really going to be eating food, but Luli is going to be placing out dispensable blood bags around the sim so that you can use those. So here in Dreadville, what we're doing is we are offering dispensers and food and drinks for free. So you don't need to spend any money into the system if you don't want to buy your own food or cook your own foods. We are going to have everything you need supplied here in Dreadville for you. Additionally, as Luli showed you, there is going to be tablets rezzed out in the food areas. You can, if you want to collect your ingredients by farming, which you can look into outside of what we offer here in Dreadville, you can cook your own foods and then you would role play the NPC serving it to you, cooking it for you, and you purchasing it from them. However, the food dispensers are there to make your process really nice and easy for you. So you can go into places like the cafe, the bars, the oasis, the food containers, and there will be a few little items that are rezzed out that you can touch and that you can receive. You only need to have one of those a day. So we don't need you going around and clicking the dispensers 30 or 40 times. You only need one. And what happens is you will be asked to attach that to your avatar to animate it, and then the object or the item will appear, and then you will be able to click use, or some are already auto use. And what they will do is when you have that attached, as when you saw on Luli's video, is that it will increase your hunger and thirst bars. Now, of course, like anything in a natural creature or a human being or whatever you're playing, unless you don't go to the bathroom, with that, your continence levels will change. So you're going to have to find a toilet to relieve yourself in. And then, of course, your hygiene levels are going to go down as well. So what we've done is we've provided around the Sims in different places and areas that you could go to basically boost your hygiene back up. So any shower that you see in Sim and that you have public access to, so this is not in people's personal rentals, when you actually click and sit on the shower, it will actually tend to your hygiene levels. When you go to the bathroom and use the toilet that are placed around Sim, that will tend to your continence levels so that you can then relieve yourself. You can also additionally have items that help you with your social. So there are free starter tablets and bits and pieces in your starter roleplay pack. Otherwise, you can actually stand next to other people who are wearing the Mystory HUD, and that will up your social in 2% ratios. Luli is also going to be providing our tablet that we already have for the Sim and have that created, so that also contributes to your Mystory social bar, and that also will contribute to your happiness. So every single seating arrangement or anything that you can sit on and interact with, whether it's a bath, a shower, things like that, is all now in the Sim Mystory enabled. So what you can kind of do is you can look at your bars as they're going down, and a really cool way is you can go, okay, my hunger and my thirst bar is going down. I'm a vampire. I'm going to go and hunt someone and use that to kind of dictate the direction of your role play. What I do find is the bars do travel down quite fast. So I have been pausing mine on and off so that if I wanted to, I could then go out and role play the scenes around whatever is going on with my bars. You know, if I was unhappy as a vampire and the character that I play with fire, what makes her happy is to actually hunt people. You know, so again, I would use that to direct and dictate to my role play. Now, one of the cool things about it is you can, if you wish to, and as Luli said, at this stage, depending on how it goes and how everybody enjoys it, but at this stage, we are not providing farming for Dreadville. But what you can do is if you have your own private land or, you know, you've got somewhere to set up some farms, you can farm your ingredients, or you can buy your ingredients on the marketplace as well. And what happens is when you level up, so you gain levels on the Mystory HUD, and when you level up, you open up different capabilities. So there's some really cool alchemy, crafting, and bits and pieces, and pharmaceutical crafting. And of course, you know, we would look at eventually we're going to add Mystory drugs so that the smoke shop will have, you know, drugs that you can interact with, which will do your happiness and bits and pieces. But in the meantime, you can actually craft these things. And so what you can do is you can have your character working towards crafting and making these things as role play stories, again, to guide and direct and complement your role play. And then you can use these items in your role play as well. What you need to know is they do not and will not attach to our current Dreadville HUD that we have. They are two totally separate things. The Dreadville HUD equates to your health, to your race, to your class, once that part is released very, very soon actually, and your XP levels and your currency system. That still is the HUD that we are using. We are not getting rid of that. We're not replacing it with the Mystory. That is the one that you will continue to use and have to use. And then, of course, the Mystory is complementary to that. So another thing that I would like to share about it, which is really, really cool, is we are going to be offering exclusive items only to Dreadville. Thank you to Luli. And she's going to be working on some bits and pieces over time that are going to be, you know, more darker themed and more fitting to our sim, because Mystory is actually grid wide. So there are a lot of places that use Mystory, but here in Dreadville, we are one of the first roleplay sims to offer this experience to you all. So we are very, very, very excited about it. Now we understand that there is going to be mixed feelings and mixed opinions, and that is why, again, it is 100% optional. You do not have to use it, and you will not gain anything over anybody else if you are using it who is not. So I'd like to have that really, really clear. I know there's going to be a lot of questions, and it's going to take a little bit for everybody to understand how to use it correctly and to find their way through and to navigate their way through. So we have opened up a My Story support channel on the Discord server, and it will be monitored by the staff so that they can try and help you the best they can to answer any questions, concerns, or even ideas that you have. Because as you explore the system and as you grow it within yourself, you might come across some really cool things that can be added to the sim. And we are always, always, always looking for new things to enhance your experience here as part of the community. So I'd like to thank you for listening, and hopefully we see you all soon delving in and enjoying the My Story addition to Dreadville.